Have you ever considered how climate change impacts the temperature of the world's oceans? You see, our oceans play a crucial role in regulating our global climate. They absorb heat, circulate it around the globe, and release it back into the atmosphere. But what happens when the balance is disrupted? How does an increase in greenhouse gases affect sea surface temperatures? Dive with us into the depths of this issue as we explore recent research on sea surface temperatures and climate change. Scientists have long suspected that human activities are influencing sea surface temperatures. This formed the basis of the initial hypothesis of the research. The question was simple, yet profound. Could we identify a distinct human fingerprint in the changing patterns of sea surface temperatures, or SST as it's commonly referred to? Our planet's climate has a seasonal rhythm, a pulse if you will, that has been increasingly disrupted. This led to the concept of climate fingerprinting, a method to detect and attribute changes in the climate system to human activity. The idea here was that just as a fingerprint is unique to an individual, so would be the impact of human activities on the Earth's climate. The hypothesis suggested that the rise in greenhouse gases, primarily CO2, due to human activities, was causing an alteration in the seasonal cycle amplitude of the sea surface temperatures. Researchers believed they would find a robust pattern, a fingerprint, that would clearly indicate a human role in these changes. This hypothesis was not plucked out of thin air. It was grounded in decades of climate studies, observations, and a deep understanding of how our oceans absorb and distribute heat. The challenge was to separate this human-caused signal from the noise of natural climate variability. So, with this hypothesis in mind, researchers set out to find concrete evidence of our impact on the oceans. To find the human fingerprint on sea surface temperatures, researchers had to dig deep. The quest to uncover the truth led them to delve into 4 different observational datasets of sea surface ocean temperature. This isn't just a cursory glance at some numbers, but a meticulous examination of a myriad of data points that span decades. Consider this. They analyzed data from a variety of monitoring systems. These include satellite records, an eye in the sky that offers a bird's-eye view of the world's oceans. They also turned to ocean measurements collected by the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute from ships and floats, data that has been painstakingly gathered since 1950. But it doesn't stop there. They also studied the model-predicted pattern of sea surface temperature seasonal cycle amplitude change. This pattern was identified with high statistical confidence in the observed sea surface temperature products and in 51 individual model realizations of historical climate evolution. The models allowed the researchers to simulate historical changes, revealing that greenhouse gas increases are the primary driver of changes in sea surface temperature seasonal cycle amplitude, with smaller but distinct contributions from anthropogenic aerosol and ozone forcing. This research wasn't conducted in a vacuum. It builds on the work of scientists like Benjamin Santer, who has spent over 30 years studying climate fingerprinting. Previous studies used satellite records to identify human fingerprints in the changing seasonal cycle of mid to upper tropospheric temperature. This research takes it a step further, revealing detailed patterns of climate change in seasonal sea surface temperatures. The methodology was rigorous, comprehensive, and meticulous. It required delving into historical records, analyzing extensive datasets, and applying sophisticated climate models. But it was all worth it. Because with this rigorous methodology, researchers were able to uncover some startling findings. The results of this research are a wake-up call for us all. The team of scientists, led by co-author Benjamin Santer, has made a groundbreaking discovery, a clear and distinct human-caused climate change signal in sea surface temperatures. This discovery didn't just spring from a single source. The team used 4 different observational datasets of sea surface ocean temperature. They crunched data from satellite records and ocean measurements, some of which Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute has been collecting since the 1950s. The story told by this data was clear and consistent. The human-caused signal in the seasonal cycle of sea surface temperature is strong and has a distinct pattern. This pattern reveals 2 striking features. First, there's an increase at Northern Hemisphere mid-latitudes. This increase is related to changes in the mixed layer depth of the ocean. In layman's terms, the top layer of the ocean is becoming thinner. This thinning can significantly amplify summer temperatures. The second feature is a robust dipole pattern between 40 degrees south and 55 degrees south. Here, changes are primarily driven by shifts in surface wind patterns, which are in turn caused by atmospheric warming. Perhaps one of the most significant findings is that warming is greater in the summer than in the winter. This means the seasonal cycle amplitude of sea surface temperature is changing and becoming stronger. In the Northern Hemisphere, the warming is more extreme, associated with the smaller ocean basin sizes. In the Southern Hemisphere, the changes in sea surface temperature are largely driven by wind shift patterns. This research is a big leap forward from previous studies. Before, scientists used satellite records to find human fingerprints in the changing seasonal cycle of mid to upper tropospheric temperature. But this is the first study that reveals detailed patterns of climate change in seasonal sea surface temperatures. These findings are not just a matter of academic interest. They challenge the claims of those who argue that recent temperature changes are natural, whether due to the sun or internal cycles in the climate system. The evidence points to a clear human-caused signal in the changing patterns of the ocean's seasonal temperatures. It's a signal that's virtually impossible to explain away as a natural phenomenon. The research also shows that greenhouse gas increases are the primary driver of changes in the seasonal cycle of sea surface temperature. Anthropogenic aerosol and ozone forcing also contribute, but to a lesser extent. So what's the bottom line? The seasonal cycle amplitude of sea surface temperature is changing. It's becoming stronger. And this change is driven by human activities. These findings provide clear evidence of a human-caused climate change signal in ocean temperatures. We now know that human activities are leaving a distinct fingerprint on the world's oceans. It's a wake-up call we can't afford to ignore. These findings are not just about data and numbers. They have significant implications for our world. This isn't merely about the temperature of our seas rising or the shifting patterns of our winds. This is about the impact these changes will have on our ecosystems, our weather, and ultimately, our survival. The research directly contradicts the assertion that climate change is a natural phenomenon. It's not the sun, nor is it internal cycles within the climate system. It's us. This research provides a robust human fingerprint, a clear indication that our actions are influencing the climate. The changes observed in the seasonal sea surface temperatures are not random fluctuations. They are consistent, they are measurable, and they are significant. The warming is greater in the summer than in the winter. The mixed layer depths of the ocean are becoming thinner, amplifying summer temperatures. This isn't just an abstract concept. It's a reality that will have far-reaching consequences. Consider the impact on our weather systems. Warmer ocean temperatures can lead to more intense and frequent hurricanes, affecting communities around the globe. The alteration of wind patterns can impact our rainfall, leading to more severe droughts and floods. Then, there's the impact on our marine ecosystems. Warmer waters can lead to coral bleaching, which threatens the biodiversity of our oceans. The changes in wind patterns can disrupt the ocean's food chain, affecting everything from tiny krill to massive whales. And let's not forget about the impact on our climate. The ocean acts as a massive heat sink, absorbing about a third of the carbon dioxide we emit. But as the ocean warms, its ability to absorb CO2 diminishes, exacerbating the effects of climate change. This research underscores the fact that our actions have a tangible, measurable impact on our planet. It's a stark reminder that we are not passive observers in the story of our planet's climate. We are the protagonists, and our actions are writing the narrative. The message is clear. Our actions are changing the world's oceans, and we need to take responsibility. Knowing is half the battle. The other half is taking action. With this newfound understanding of our impact on the sea surface temperatures, it's crucial we don't just stand by. Each one of us has the power to make a difference, to leave a lighter footprint on this world. Small steps matter. Consider how you can reduce your carbon emissions. Perhaps it's biking to work, recycling more, or even reducing meat consumption. Advocate for clean energy in your community, be it wind, solar, or hydroelectric power. These are not just alternatives, They're necessities for a sustainable future. And let's not forget the importance of research. Support institutions and scientists who continue to unravel the complexities of climate change. Their work is essential in informing our actions and policies. The oceans are sending us a message. It's time for us to listen and to act. Let's ensure our response is one of decisive, positive change.